In this homework, we're going to be exploring form. So form is a 3D shape that has volume. Which objects show form? So things like a sphere, cylinder, and a cube. Now, if you're not sure how to draw those, you are going to need to look it up. Okay, now the task this week is to draw bottles. So we're looking at the artist here from Cubism. So Cubism was an art movement that played with form. Artists overlap and chopped up simple 3D shapes in a complicated way. So we're going to be looking at doing a bottle drawing with 3 bottles and then using our pastels to create this effect. Okay, so I'm going to be starting the picture with a line of symmetry for the first bottle. So this is important to get it nice and upright. So we're going back to drawing our ellipses. Now you need to be making sure that the distance between here and here, here and here is the same, so that you're getting a nice upright bottle. So for this bottle, I'm stacking several ellipses on top of each other. To give this bottle a nice 3D form. So at the moment, I'm just going to leave it in this fairly rough format, and then I'm going to move on to the second bottle. So this time, I'm going to be evaluating how tall the second bottle is. Now my second bottle is quite a lot shorter, so it's going to be about here, but it also drops down on the table, so it is in front of this bottle but not overlapping. So I'm going to look at this negative shape in here to find out how wide that needs to go. So it's actually about this dimension. So you can see here I've done this a little bit too flat, so I'm going to be putting that ellipse in, making sure I've got enough ellipses. So the final bottle actually cuts through and is just a little bit shorter than this bottle. I draw my line of symmetry. Now these two are about in line. I think this third bottle is slightly below this one, but not by much. So you can kind of see the 3 ellipses are at 3 different places on the table. So before I move on, I'm just going to double check my line of symmetry. So is this shape the same as this shape? Is this the same as this? Have I got ellipses every time the bottle kind of goes in and out? Now you'll notice to this point, I haven't used my rubber. So I've just left those mistakes in there, and I will sort them out after. Okay, so the next stage, I'm going to be just refining my drawing. So I'm just going to rub out any lines that I think don't need to be there. So these are sketching lines, and they're really important that you do them, but then obviously you can rub them out before you start the next stage. So you can see already that bottle is looking a lot tidier. So the lines of symmetry can go because they've done their job. The ellipses at the back can also be faded, so the back of the ellipse, unless it's a clear bottle and you can see all the way through, then that can stay. So this is called refinement. You are refining your drawing with your rubber. Now there might be things that you've missed. So I can see I haven't really drawn the top of this bottle. And I'm starting to go in and press a little bit harder. I'm just starting to get some slightly more defined shapes. So I feel like the circle, the ellipse on the bottom of that one isn't quite round enough. Okay guys, so now that we've got our bottles, I am going to be using oil pastels. So if you've got the art pack, then you can start using these pastels. So you're going to be finding the black, which is going to be your dark tone, the grey, which is going to be your medium tone, the white, and then I want you to try and choose perhaps one other colour. So I think I'm going to go with this blue colour at the moment. So you might need to peel just a little bit of the paper off if like this one, it's not sticking at the end. So I wouldn't peel it all the way down. You just need a little bit, okay? That's going to keep your fingers a little bit more clean. So you're going to be squinting your eyes and just identifying perhaps the lighter of the tones. And at the moment, I'm not going to be pressing too hard. I'm just going to be filling in, like I do with my pencil, just that first level of tone. So I'm trying to curve around the bottles. Okay, so I'm going in that kind of ellipse motion. Sometimes I might come down if I can see a reflection. I'm going to go back around as if I'm going to do that ellipse inside the bottle. So it's going to be easier here if you've got bottles that have got a light source, so the light is coming perhaps from one direction rather than all around, because you're going to be able to see the light and the shadows a lot easier. Okay, so I think the easiest thing to do at this point is to start with the darkest tone, which is going to be your black. So this time you are really looking for the darkest areas. So you might have vertical lines that are coming straight down. You might have some areas at the back of the bottle, bit of a shadow. So definitely this side of the bottle I can kind of draw that shadow shape. So I'm going to be adding on some table shadows. So I'm going to be pressing just a little bit harder with these, just to make the tone a little bit darker. So that's going to just help these bottles to stand out off the page. I'm just doing a little bit of tone on that table, just so it looks like they're sitting on something. So I haven't really filled in the pastel. Now, if you wanted to do a little bit of blending, you can, just to create that smooth effect. Okay, so I'm just going to add my accent colour. So I'm going to just pick out a few different shapes. So I've got a label on this bottle that's quite interesting. So I might just pick out a colour on here. And I might just bring a little bit of the blue, just inspired by that artist at the top. So I'm just using the blue just to add a little bit more contrast. And I might actually use the light blue as well, just in some of these highlights. So I'm starting to press a little bit harder with these highlights just to get this colour a little bit more vibrant. Now I'm quite happy for you to use your white if you need to. Okay, I think it looks quite good not blended. So the real aim of this is that you're just exploring bottles and drawing them in a 3D way, okay, and adding some tone on. So don't worry if they look a little bit messy or not too refined. I think that is okay. As long as they look 3D, that you've drawn them with ellipses, lines of symmetry, all of that structural process that we went through right at the beginning, you're going to be okay. So again, it's important that you read the criteria at the bottom. So I know the definition of form, so 3D shape that has volume. I can draw the bottle in a 3D way using ellipses and parallel lines. I can add pastel in a tonal way from light to dark. So as long as you've got light, medium and dark tones, that is good. I can blend tones smoothly. So I haven't done that one, so that could be my EBI. I need to draw the form using ellipses. So that's if you haven't managed to do ellipses. I need to add shading, so if you haven't added some shading. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and I will look forward to what you're going to produce.